Well, here's another example of the Harbor Freight stuff. I've gotten calipers like this before. I probably have some exactly the same directly above me. Anyway, you get it and you can see that these things have been stored for a long time, and they've got all this corrosion and stuff on it. That's not going to hurt anything out here. That's not going to bother anything at all. But you know, we do want to make sure that they still slide okay. Yeah, I don't think there's any grease in there. A little bit of rust around the pad there. Oh, come on. Yeah, a little on that one too. Cup looks okay, seal looks okay. Alright, there's no rust, but I'm going to go ahead and take this lube and spread it back around the rod here. Because the rod itself was pretty dry. And that should be basically a high temp silicone. So now we can get it back together with the see if I can get this stupid boot back down around here. I might actually have to take that one off and put it back on there. Oh, come on. There we go. This boot was hanging up and fighting me. Alright. Let's put that clip back in there. Okay, let's take that off. I think it'll be a little easier to put on that way. Yes, much easier. I don't know how much of that you can actually see now. See, because when the boot goes on there, then it's tapered right here, so it'll just expand up over and then catch behind it. So I'm sure they put it together like this to start with. So they just go all the way down, and now you know the boot has caught on both sides there. So okay, so that feels better. Just something to watch out for with Harbor Freight stuff. Not Harbor Freight. Rock Auto. I'm gonna go ahead and take the copper washers off there, and so these came in as fully loaded calipers. Okay, when you're looking on the websites and stuff like that, my understanding is that fully loaded is with the pads. Okay, pretty easy to figure that out. Semi-loaded is with the clips, no pads. And then of course you have unloaded, which is no clips or pads. So let's see, this is the inside, goes toward the inside of the truck. Bleeder valve goes up on the top, so this is the driver's side. So I'm just going to set it here for a second. Now, another Rock Auto hose. You can see the corrosion around here. I'm going to go get a brass wire brush and see if I can knock some of that down a little bit and go from there. And then I'll go ahead and mount the hose up on here first before I put it on the truck. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and use the crescent wrench here. Since I don't have it in the vehicle, I can't pull it against that tab there. So basically I just want to get this get it tightened up before I put it in the truck. And I'm putting it down good and tight just to make sure it seals. The brass is soft enough that the two kind of, you know, meld together a little bit. Same thing with the copper washers there when I put those on. So let's see. Here's the other adapter. You want to make sure you don't have any crap on either end of the flare, the mating surface and that stuff. So and I'm using a box end, so that's safe enough. You know, you should use a flare nut wrench, but the point of the flare nut wrench is so you can get it, you know, over the tube. If you can do it like this, you don't really need it. So he's got banjo bolts here. We picked these up at the scrapyard when we picked up his other ones. That's completely nasty. Ain't a chance in hell I'm messing with that one. So let's see what we got here. We've got two short and two long. I think you can see that okay. It depends on what hose he got, basically. So we'll see which one matches up here. I've got the information on the website. I don't off the top of my head, I think the 720 is the longer stuff, and I'll clean these up some more. But the 720 is thicker on this piece than the hard body. So that goes through okay. So I'm going to bet that this is the hard body hose. Because what happens is, see, that one goes through so far that it bottoms out in the caliper. Okay? And when it bottoms out in the caliper, it doesn't bottom out in a hole, it bottoms out against the back of the piston. Okay? So when you look down inside that hole and you see that shiny silver part in there, that's the you know, that's actually the back of the piston, you know. So the cup, I think, is actually what it's called. So anyway, I'm gonna get this cleaned up, and then we'll throw the hose on there with the copper washers and that stuff, and then we'll prep the other. As you can see, they cleaned up and shined up real nice. Like I said, this is the driver's side. Now I figured out that the one that did not have the bevel, that's the driver's side. We're going to want it to mount up like that. So we're going to take the copper washers here, and the color's off a little bit, but there's no real tarnish on the surface to matter. Okay, so we're going to put one on that side, and then one on the other. That almost looks too short now. Let's I'll have to clean the other ones up. Let me check that. Alright, well, I think in the other one I picked the shorter ones. These, I had some other hoses around here. I'm not sure where they're at. I think I actually used them, but anyway, we want it to go like this. I've got the, I did the measuring and with the washers on here. This bolt still will not bottom out, so this must be a 720 hose with the longer. So we're just going to snug that up for now. Let's This is a 13. That's kind of loose. All right, it's a 12 millimeter. So I'm going to get 12 millimeter socket. Now it said 13 foot-pounds. Okay, 13 foot-pounds is way down on the torque wrench here. Okay, so fairly inaccurate. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the inch pounds. So let's see here. 13 foot-pounds times 12. That gives us 156 inch-pounds. So let's, and 156 is right in the middle of the, scale here, so that's good. Alright, so that's a little too far. Okay, so when you hit the line there, that line says 145, you hit it on the 0, looks like it's got, goes by threes, so that's 15. Well, that doesn't seem right. Anyway, what did I say we wanted? 156? So 145 plus 9 is 151, plus another 3. So we're right about there. Consult a professional. I'm not one. Anyway. And then this one locks that way. There we go. So I'm not positive I can hold this to do that, so let's see. Oh yeah, that's not too bad. Okay, so that's supposed to be, it's kind of deceiving because with that much leverage, you know, usually you're working with small wrenches, so I think we're ready to slap that one on the car, so I think I'll get the other caliper and prep it. Alright, I opened this set of calipers up. I also verified that the piston actually moves in and out. It's not locked up or frozen. This is 100% pure silicone grease. Picked it up at a car store many years ago. But it's for brakes and ignition. This is the same stuff you put on your ignition boots, your spark plug boots and that stuff, so they slide on and off without getting locked up. So since these are actually dry, there's a little bit in the cups there and that stuff. I'm going to go ahead and put a little smear on here just to make sure that they actually have some lubrication on them. So there we go. It's about the same as what we had on the others now. Well, this is another one of those drawbacks of Rock Auto, okay? All that corrosion that we saw and everything else, it's inside the bolt holes there too, because they didn't get plated as well. Okay, so they're too tight. You're gonna have to fight back and forth, wire brush. Since I already have one, the easiest thing for me to do is take a tap, and let's see, this is a 12mm by 1.25. And I don't want to start it under power because it's got existing threads. So I could just continue to run it in there by hand, but I'm going to cheat. And I don't have to clamp it tight, as long as because it's not a ton of torque here or anything. Yeah, that's better. Alright, that'll go in far enough. Yeah, one of those downsides. That's not to say that if you go buy brand new ones out of the store, you might not run into the same problem, but I've had that issue multiple times. That's why I have that tap. Alright, we're pretty much ready to put the caliper on. One thing I don't want to do is, if I got grease and oil on my hands and that stuff, I don't want to go touching the rotor and that stuff. So we're going to, and you don't really want to put your fingers all over the pads either. So everything's all cleaned up. Hopefully the pads are spread apart far enough. There we go. Okay, so hadn't gone through, run the tap through the caliper, I'd have been fighting that thing trying to get it to go. Now I'll come back and torque those, but for what I'm doing right now I don't need to. I just need to get them mounted up. Last couple hours have been less than enjoyable. Basically, I don't know exactly how it happened. It's my fault. The original spacers are supposed to be 0.550, but for some reason the dimension that I sent to John Williams, Dat Rod on Ratson, for the spacers, I sent him 0.625. I don't know why. And then when I did the welding jig, I set it according to the spacers I got. So anyway, what happened was when I went to bolt the caliper onto over the rotor, I started tightening it down and it started binding. It pulled the caliper in too far, and I was like, holy crap. So I checked the hub, checked the calipers, made sure that, you know, everything matched up like I thought they should and everything. And then I started looking at the bracket going, oh crap. So, at least as a stopgap fix, because I've got this truck in my shop, I machined 4 75mm 0.075 inch spacers to go in there, and they did the trick perfectly. So these two go on the driver's side. I'll put those in now, and then take a picture of or shoot the video of what they look like in there. You know, I mean, it's not uncommon to shim brakes and stuff like that. I just find it quite annoying that I messed that up. I got in a hurry because I had 2 projects going on at once, and it was like, okay, if I get this one done first, I'll buy myself some time for the other one, and the other one's still not done. So I ordered some from McMaster-Carr, but they're only they're 0.875. I think they're 7/8, so a 1/2 inch inside hole, and that's 3/4. Let me find the calipers. So these are a little over 1 inch. It was 1.25 inches. I machined the outside down just a little bit, so it would be inside there. And that way it would, I don't know if you can see that over there or not, but that way it would fit that pad better there too. So 7/8, 0.875. Oh, that'll make it a little bit smaller, but you know, it'll still work. So I'll get the ones from McMaster-Carr. They should be more accurate, a bit nicer kind of thing as far as thickness goes and that stuff. And then basically I'm going to have to start shipping these out to everybody who's already bought kits and make sure I put them in the new kits. Because if I had to go back and remake brackets and that stuff, yeah, I'd be losing money. Anyway, let's get back to putting the calipers on. I doubt you can see them. Another dead spider. Anyway, before putting the shims on, I wanted to make sure that the calipers, that the pads and everything were in there and that stuff, and that I have a little bit of a gap there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bolt, put the shim washer on it, and then step it back like that. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, okay. And I don't think you'll really be able to see a whole lot when I start putting the caliper on, but oh. The other side went on slick as a whistle. Didn't have didn't have any issue. Just boom right on. Basically, just got to get it in the hole there enough, and that'll hold the washer, and then you can get the thread started. Okay, that's better. All right, there it is. Seems pretty innocuous in there, you know, but what it does is it brings the spacing back up and puts the caliper pretty much right back in the middle. You know, when I figured out the centering and that stuff, it was up here at this closer part. So that seemed to be where it was machined and had the most accuracy. So anyway, crisis avoided, more or less. Alright, got the torque wrench out. 70 foot-pounds. I got the 1/2 inch this time because it puts it right in the middle of the range. You always want to try pulling straight and everything. You don't want to cock it off to the side. So I'm going to go around and make the other one click a couple times, and then we'll move on to the brake line.